You open your manuscript after a long season away. You scroll to the last page you wrote and you start to read that first paragraph, but you don't even recognize it. It doesn't sound like you, and it doesn't actually sound like anyone. The thought hits you before you stop that, I don't even know what this book is about anymore. Maybe I'm not really called to write it. You close the laptop and the book stays closed for another 3 months. But there's a moment when you open your manuscript after you've been away for a long time that the writing can feel foreign. It just feels like this is not something I even remember writing. And that moment is more dangerous than any missed week or months or hard season, because that's the moment you may start to actually question God's calling for you to write this book at all. Give me just the next few minutes and I'll show you one rule that can help you get back into your own voice in less than 5 minutes before that lie takes root. I built a Restart Toolkit exactly for it. 3 simple rules of restarting and the re-entry steps, along with the prayer that goes with it, all in one short PDF that you can keep next to your manuscript. If you want it, just drop the word restart in the comments and I'll send it over to you. My name is Shelley Hitz, and along with my husband CJ, I'm the founder of Christian Book Academy. Since 2010, we've helped over 1,000 writers overcome self-doubt and become published authors. We've also published over 70 books of our own and reached almost 1 million readers worldwide. Our writers often call us pastors for writers, and in this video, you'll get one thing you can immediately use. So here's the problem nobody talks about. The hardest moment in writing a book isn't actually the day that you start. It's the day you come back and you finally have 30 minutes or an hour. You finally have a quiet house. You finally have the kind of mental space you've been waiting for. So you open your manuscript expecting to feel something familiar, and instead you read your own words and they sound a little bit like a stranger wrote them. And in that moment, you don't just doubt your writing, you doubt whether you heard from God at all. So that's where one of our Christian Book Academy members, Lori, almost quit. After 8 months of starting and stopping her children's book, she opened the manuscript one more time and seriously wondered if she'd made the whole thing up. But she didn't close the laptop. She showed up for 15 minutes the next day, then the next, and the next. And not long after, she sent us a message that she finally finished her first draft. So congratulations, Lori. We're so proud of you. But I know what you're doing instead. Instead of writing, you're rereading. You're going back to chapter 1 because you don't trust the chapter you stopped at. You're trying to remember the thread of your book by skimming or by scrolling or by looking at your outline and maybe even reading other people's books in the same genre to see if maybe you're on the right track. But you're trying to reconnect with the book through your eyes, through reading. And if that's not working, there's another option to try. So when your manuscript feels foreign, the problem may not just be your memory, it's voice. So you wrote this book in your own voice, your cadence, your rhythm, the way you say things when you're not trying. And many times silent reading doesn't bring that voice back. Silent reading often invites your inner critic. The voice that wrote the book and the inner critic that wants to fix it are not the same voice. They tend to conflict with each other. And they both have their place. We need them both. But right now, you need the writer back, not the editor. The editing will come later. But the writer may come back faster when you hear yourself saying those words out loud instead of reading them silently. Over the years, I've heard our Christian Book Academy members say it again and again. They'll read their work out loud as part of the self-editing process and then tell me, oh, wow, I can't believe I wrote that. It's better than what I remembered. And that's because they didn't write it alone. God gave them the words. Rereading out loud isn't just a craft technique for self-editing. It's how you actually hear what God gave you the first time. And it's how you reconnect with the one you were writing with. So here's what's actually happening. I call it the read out loud rule. When your manuscript feels foreign, read the last paragraph out loud before you write a single word. You don't have to start from the beginning. You don't have to keep re-editing the same section over and over and over again. Because how many of you have done that? It's so easy to come back and then you just feel like, I got to start over. And then you can just keep starting over and editing the same thing over and over. Now, if you need a little bit more, you can do maybe 1 or 2 pages and read them out loud. But I want you to picture 2 versions of what happens the next time you sit down to your manuscript after a longer break. Version 1 is you open the document, you scroll to the last page, and you begin reading silently. And that inner critic steps in, right? 2 paragraphs in, your brain starts performing a critique. This sentence is weak. This metaphor doesn't land. Did I even really write this? By paragraph 4, the critic has taken over and you stop reading and you start editing. 20 minutes later, you've rewritten 1 paragraph 3 times and you still don't remember what the chapter was about. So you close the laptop. That happens all too often, right? And let's talk about what it could look like for version 2. You open your document, you scroll to the last page, you read the last paragraph out loud, or maybe the last 1 to 2 pages out loud, slowly as if you were reading them to a friend. Within 90 seconds, your voice starts to come back. The cadence comes back. The argument starts to land. By end of page 2, you remember exactly where you were going, and you write 1 new sentence underneath it. You're back. So the difference between those 2 versions is not your memory. It's your voice. Silent reading invites the inner critic, whereas reading out loud invites the creative writer. And they're 2 different parts of your brain, the creative part of your brain and the analytical part of your brain. And so we want in the first draft to just give free rein to that creative part of our brain so that we can get that book out of our head onto paper. The editing will come. It's all part of the process. You're going to edit it yourself. You're going to hire an editor. But now you can know what's happening in your head, and be able to see the difference. You might be thinking, but Shelley, I can't read it out loud. My husband's in the next room. I'll feel ridiculous. Or, I'm in a office or I'm in a location like a coffee shop where if I start reading something out loud, everyone's going to look at me like I'm crazy. Well, listen, you can whisper it just real slightly, now I know what's happening in your head right now. Just enough to hear it yourself. You can mouth it or read it under your breath. The volume doesn't really matter here. It's the act of speaking the words. So your mouth holds something that your eyes alone can't reach. And here's the spiritual piece I don't want you to miss, because we help you to partner with God in Christian Book Academy. The voice that wrote the book the first time is still in you. The Holy Spirit who gave you the words didn't leave when you've missed the last 3 months. He didn't unsubscribe from your manuscript. His voice is still there. It's just been quiet because you haven't been using it. But reading out loud is one way you can bring it back up. When your manuscript feels foreign, just try it. Try reading out loud. That's the rule. Your voice is on its way home. So here's why this works. The read it out loud rule removes the thing that makes long breaks so dangerous. It's the lie that the calling went away. When you read your own work in your own voice, the calling shows back up in the cadence of your sentences. You don't have to manufacture it. You just have to hear yourself again. And you don't have to be writing perfectly to get your book out of your head onto paper. You just need to keep writing, right? And then the editing will come later. Now, you can absolutely continue to write your book on your own. The next time you sit down to your manuscript after a long break, try this. Begin to read a single word. Instead of reading silently, read the last 2 pages out loud. That's the path, and it works. So the other path is doing it inside a community of kingdom writers who are restarting right alongside you with a progress pod, which is peer-led, that meets every week, that prays for you, cheers you on, and keeps showing up for you until your voice comes back. Both paths work, but the community path with accountability and real people in your corner tends to be faster because you have a witness. You're not doing this alone in the corner of your living room anymore or in your office. So drop the word restart in the comments and I'll send you the Restart Toolkit. The 3 rules of restarting, the re-entry steps, and the prayer that goes with them all in one short 1-page PDF. So just type restart below. And you can literally open your manuscript today, read the last paragraph or the last 2 pages out loud, and within 5 minutes, your voice can come back. That's it. Ask the Lord, ask the Holy Spirit to partner with you as you do this. That's the whole thing. You don't need a free weekend. You don't need to remember every plot thread. You don't need to sign up for 5 new courses and read 2 new books on the craft of writing. You don't need to actually even feel inspired. You just need your manuscript open, 5 minutes, and the willingness to speak out loud. Here's what I want you to hear. The reason your book feels foreign isn't that you lost it. It's that you haven't been hearing it. The voice that wrote this book, the Holy Spirit, is still in you. It just needs to be invited to speak again. And not the inner critic, but the Holy Spirit, right? It's 2 competing voices. So the next time you sit down and writing feels like a stranger wrote it, don't just keep rereading it and re-editing it over and over and over. That's a cycle we want to end, right? Read it out loud. Pray for the Holy Spirit to, invite the Holy Spirit into the moment. Listen for the voice God gave you, and I guarantee you it will come back. So again, drop the word restart in the comments. I'll send you the toolkit. Then go open your manuscript right now and reread the last paragraph out loud and let me know how it goes for you.